Hour of Devastation constructed deck? Yes, please. Hello everyone, this is vmcampos, Magic fan. So I like to play and I like to collect Magic cards. I have a complete set of Hour of Devastation, and as such, I have a lot of common and uncommon cards. So what I like to do in addition to collecting a set is to also create a variety of Pauper and Pauper Plus decks. So these are decks that are only common and uncommon cards. No rares, no mythics, maybe there's a foil for fun, but this is all common and some uncommons. So let's check out this deck I made. This is a black and green zombie deck. So I start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 swamps. And I love the swamps in Hour of Devastation. Look at that, just the Luxa River overflowing in blood, thanks to Razaketh. Now I do have some Shadows over Innistrad swamps, I just didn't have enough Hour of Devastation. So 10 swamps. Then I've got forests, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 forests. Next up, since we are on the plane of Amonkhet, these are some deserts. So I've got a playset of 4 Desert of the Indomitable. So this gives me 1 more green mana, or I can cycle it away if I don't need it. And this desert has synergy with another card. So those are the lands. Then I've got some artifacts. Dagger of the Worthy. A 2-drop, it's uncommon. It's equipment, so I can equip it for 2. And then we get equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Afflict. So even if the creature is blocked, 1 point goes through. And I've got 2 of those to pass around to my creatures. Another uncommon artifact, Crook of Condemnation, 2-drop. Then what we do is 1 and tap to exile target card from a graveyard. So if someone is doing graveyard shenanigans, I can take it out with my Crook. And if I need to do the nuclear option, 1 plus exile the Crook, and then we exile all cards from the graveyard. Wow. I've got a creature for 3. This is the Graven Abomination, artifact creature Horror. Whenever Graven Abomination attacks, exile target card from defending player's graveyard. So it's a 3/1, sneeze on it and it might die, but whenever it attacks, not if the attack resolves or does damage or whatever, whenever it attacks, exile target card from defending player's graveyard, any card from their graveyard. I've got 3 of those. And then we go on to green. First we'll start with the green spells. For 1 green mana we have Life Goes On, an instant. You gain 4 life. If a creature died this turn, you gain 8. So even if my opponent's creatures died, that counts, so I would get 8 life out of that. A very big boon for very little mana. Gift of Strength. 1 and 1 green, instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains Reach. So I can pick off those nasty flying creatures that my opponent might be sending my way at instant speed. Lastly, of the spells, I love this one, Ambuscade. This is 2 + 1 green, instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. So I sort of make my creature fight another creature, but it's not a fight, it's not combat, and it's not combat damage. I give the +1 to one of my creatures, I attack my opponent to hopefully remove it, and then attack with my creature, and it doesn't even lose the boon until end of turn. I love that, so 3 of them. Next up, creatures. So Frilled Sandwalla, 1 green. It's a 1/1, so I can get him out on the first turn, but better yet, by the second turn I can pump it up to 3/3. You can only do this once per turn, but it can be done at instant speed on my opponent's turn, so I can get a 3/3 creature by the second turn. I've got 2 of those. Next up, Feral Prowler, 2-drop. Creature cat. When Feral Prowler dies, draw a card. So early in the game, having a a blocker of 3 is good, and later on as the game goes on, and this dies perhaps for any reason, I can draw a card. So I've got 2 of those to try to get me some card advantage as well as the creature. I don't have any 3 drops, so here in the 4th drop is 2 and green, creature Crocodile. As long as a creature has -1/-1 counter on it, Tenacious Hunter has Vigilance and Death Touch. Without it, it's a 4/4. So if I don't have that extra requirement, it's still a 4/4 for 4 mana, but I do have another card in the deck that does give a -1 counter, and therefore this could have Vigilance and Death Touch. One of those. Uncommon. Bitterbow Sharpshooters, I love this one for being a common card. 5 mana, 4/4 creature, Vigilance and Reach. So it'll snipe those flyers coming my way and live to tell about it. And I've got 2 of those commons, one for each of the brothers here. Next we're getting up to the fatties. 4 and 2/2, creature Hippo, 5/6. The Rampaging Hippo. Trample. So if I don't need it at the early game, I can cycle it for 2 and draw a card. And lastly, the big bomb creature, Sifter Wurm, 5 and green for a 7/7 trample. And it's got a cool ability here, a little complex. When Sifter Wurm enters the battlefield, scry 3. Okay, so let's pause there. You're going to scry 3, you know how that works. Look at your 3 cards, decide to keep how many on the top or put at the bottom. Then reveal the top card of your library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. So if you scried well to set up your next turns, and also then have a high casting cost spell coming up that you can use, you'll also get some great life out of that. Plus a 7/7 creature. Next we're into the black spells. There's only 1. Here it's a sorcery in black, it's 2 and 1 black. As an additional cost to cast Lethal Sting, put a -1 counter on a creature you control. After that, destroy target creature. Any creature, whether it's attacking, flying, whatever, destroy it. The downside is a -1/-1 counter. But that -1 counter then helps me with my Tenacious Hunter. As I said, that one needs a -1 counter to then give it Vigilance and Death Touch. I suppose you could put the counter on itself, it can handle it, then you've got Vigilance and Death Touch, and you destroy a creature. It's one of those. Now, just for fun, I wanted to build a whole playset of Wretched Camel. It's a 2-drop, so I can bring this out on the second turn. It's a 2/1, nothing to sneeze at. Even better, when Wretched Camel dies, if you control a desert, or there is a desert card in your graveyard, target player discards a card. And we already have over here the Desert of the Indomitable. The Desert of the Indomitable. It's hard to say, but easy to use. Because then target player discards a card. Got 4 of those little guys rampaging across the desert. I've also got 4 Khenra Eternals, another 2-drop. This is a 2/2, so it can take a little more punishment, and it's got Afflict. So if it's blocked, especially early on in the game, 1 still goes through. And I summon my whole squad of these zombie jackal warriors. I love some of these creature types, like over here, creature zombie camel. Here's a 3-drop Marauding Boneslasher, creature zombie minotaur, 3/3. Marauding Boneslasher can't block unless you control another zombie. So for a 3-drop, I get a 3/3. Downside, can't block unless I've got a zombie. Guess what? It's a zombie deck. So I've got the Khenra zombie jackal, the camel zombie, and no problem, it'll block. Got 2 of those. We're getting to the scarier creatures. 3 mana, Lurching Rotbeast, 4/2. If I don't need it, however, I can cycle it away really easily, or if I've got the mana for it, I've got a 4/2. 2 of those. And lastly, the Accursed Horde for a 4-drop, uncommon, 3/3 creature. Okay, and what does it do? 1 and 1 black, target attacking zombie gains indestructible until end of turn. Now notice it does not say target another zombie. So you can do this upon itself. Your horde can make itself indestructible. And there's no tap requirement as well. So if you've got the mana, you can make your whole squad of zombies indestructible for one big Accursed Horde attack. And I've got 2 of those. So there it is. I like Hour of Devastation a lot, the flavor of it all. And it was fun putting together a Pauper Plus deck. Everything's common or uncommon, very affordable. What do you think of the deck? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe for more cool videos. This has been vmcampos. See you outside the Heckma.